What's up, my fellow LTD addicts? Let's talk about Stencil. Stencil is an image creation tool so you can make beautiful graphics for your website, social media, YouTube, or any other place you post images. There's currently a lifetime offer running on AppSumo. In this video, I'm going to take you deep into the application, show you how all of the features work, and how Stencil helped me create this YouTube channel overnight. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, I'm Dave from that LTD.life, where I review software tools with lifetime offers. If you're new around here, make sure you hit that subscription button and click the notification bell so you get notified when new reviews are posted. If you want to follow along with what I'm doing, you can use the link in the description below. Let's jump on into it. This is Stencil, back for a third time on AppSumo. Now, one of the things I like about the Stencil deal is $49 gets you in the door and there is no stacking. Whew. Thank goodness. It's been hard on the wallet lately. AppSumo has been really knocking it out of the park in terms of deals, in my opinion. For $49, the Stencil deal gets you the unlimited plan. That is unlimited Stencil access. There's no stacking necessary. Of course, you can get multiple accounts if you want to use them for different businesses or different parts of your business just to keep things organized. I guess $49 isn't that big of an investment to do that, although there's no real reason to. You get no benefits other than just multiple users having access for $49. So let's get right into it. What does Stencil do? How do I use it? Because I actually do just about all of my image creation inside of Stencil. So I'm going to show you how I make a YouTube thumbnail inside of Stencil. Now, I use Stencil for almost all of my image creation, and later in this video, I'll show you how I created the logo for this channel inside of Stencil, and even the background when you see my face without the computer screen, I did that inside of Stencil as well. So here is a template that I've already created in Stencil. You can create and save templates so you can reuse them for purposes like this. And there are also built-in templates. We'll take a look at those in a bit. So here is my kind of AppSumo review template. So the first thing I do if I wanted to create a new template, or excuse me, a new thumbnail, is I would delete the old and just be left, this is AppSumo, so I'll leave the little sumo guy, and I've got my logo here in the corner and lifetime deal review at the top. Now, by all means, I am not a graphic designer. I'm pretty much, a marketer who has to do a little bit of graphic design in order to get by. So I know this is not beautiful. I'm following the Brian Dean method of using Gobi colors for my thumbnails to stand out on YouTube. If you're not familiar with Brian Dean, he's amazing. He's got some of the best SEO content out there, and he talks about Gobi thumbnails really catching your eye. And what he means by that is thumbnails that are green, orange, blue, or yellow. They tend to stand out really well on YouTube. So here is my yellow background, and I've cleared away all of the graphics that I need. And then I just basically go to Google Images and I grab the logo for the deal. So here I'm uploading Stencil's logo, and you can see that pop up right here, and I'll just click it. It shows up. I can resize it so that it fits kind of nicely here on the image. And then of course I need to put my head on the graphic, because in the early days, in the first few videos here, I didn't put my head on the graphics and it just didn't get as many clicks through. You can actually see your click-through rate on YouTube, and it wasn't performing as well. So I ended up putting my face as a thumbnail to get some more attention. So what I do here is I actually just took a picture a second ago before I started this video, and I used just the built-in webcam on my computer to snap a photo. And I have a green screen, and of course that's how I do this type of image, where I have the computer behind me. And then I go to remove.bg. It's a free website, remove.bg. I'm gonna go ahead and upload this photo that I just took a second ago and just drop it on the browser. And this is just going to, here's my original here, and you can see it just cropped out the green. It looks like it actually missed a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is open this up inside of Preview here on the Mac, and I'll just kind of crop this a little bit. Command K crops. There we go. Hopefully that helps it out a little, and we'll try this again. Sure enough, it did a better job that time without all the other stuff in the background. And I can go ahead and download this. And now I've got the version I'm going to actually upload to Stencil here. And you can see it's processing down here in the corner. There we go. I can add it in. Now, Stencil does do this from time to time, and that it kind of gets stuck on this resizing thing. So I'm actually going to go ahead and reload the browser. And there we go. I can bring this up a little bit. And if I wanted to, I could flip it. I think it actually looks better this way. So I'm going to go ahead and flip it. And let's see here. That looks pretty good, I think. All right, so I've got my stencil thumbnail all ready to go. When I want to download it, I can just hit this download button. I'll give it a name. I'll call it Stencil-YT for YouTube. If I were exporting it with, say, the intention of having a transparent background, I could do a PNG, or if there weren't very many images in it, it was just more of a vector type of graphic, I would probably do a PNG. Otherwise, I'll keep it on JPG. And then I can also download it at 2x resolution for Retina screens, which is a really nice option. But for now, I'm going to leave it at the default and go ahead and hit start download. And it just takes a second here, and I've got my thumbnail created for this video even before the video is done. So that's really cool. Okay, so hopefully that little demo caught your attention and you can see how quick and easy it is to use Stencil once you've already set it up with your own templates. But how easy is it to get going from the ground up if you've never used it before? Would you be better off spending your time learning Photoshop, or is Stencil really going to be enough for you? Well, I'm going to hopefully help you decide that throughout the rest of this video. We're going to go over each of the features in a lot more detail here. So let's start off with a brand new document. To do that, I'm going to hit this little piece of paper right here, and it clears everything out. Now, if I did that by accident, of course, I could use the undo, and there is, of course, a redo as well as a change history here where I can see a list of all of the changes I've made to the image. Okay, so let's just look at the rest of the items over here on this right side menu bar here. So we already covered this top item, and that is for creating a new image. The next one is to add text to your image. So I can very easily just click that button. I get a little text field. I can resize the font right here. I can make, say, the spacing bigger so that, I can choose my alignment. Let's see, we can add additional spacing between the lines. So let's call this like line 2. And I can use this slider. These are all kind of standard word processor functionality that you'd expect to see. And I can play around with that alignment a little bit more. I can change, of course, the color of the text. So let's say I wanted it to be kind of this nice blood red color. Then I can also add a drop shadow. There we go. There's a little, you can see the little drop shadow show up. There can be an outline, and I'll make this black. And for the background color, that looks like this. So I could have, the text have a background to it. Of course, there is a color picker here so that I could choose another color that's already in the image very easily. And if I click this little button, I can save the color to my account so that I can easily reuse it again in the future. So let's move on to the next button here. This is to toggle the grid. Now this is pretty much entirely for Facebook ads. So if I hover over this little icon here, it tells you that you don't want to have the text fill up more than 5 boxes if you're going to try to get this approved by Facebook ads. Facebook ads do not like text on your images. So if you put text on your images, you're not going to be approved. And if you are approved, they'll pull you down pretty quickly. So, right here, you could say, oh, this is probably a little bit too much text for Facebook ads. It's not filling up 5 boxes completely, but it's filling up about 9 almost all the way. So really helpful little tool here. And of course, I can just trash the image and start all over if I want. So let's go ahead and do that. Down here, now we've been looking at a 1280 by 720 YouTube thumbnail, but I can change the size of my canvas to any size that I want. But there's some handy presets here. So for posts, I could say, I'm going to do a Facebook photo. I want to make sure that I have the right size there, or maybe I'm going to post on Instagram, and they've got the right size for that. You can also do things like ads. So if I wanted to get the perfect size for a banner ad on my website, I could do a skyscraper ad. We've all seen those long ads that go along the side of a website. Of course, there are also just kind of more conventional cover albums. So like your Facebook cover art. Now, I really like this functionality inside of Stencil because it gives you these safe zones. So if you're not familiar, when you create cover art for social media, things like Facebook or YouTube, that one image is shown on all of the platforms in terms of like mobile phone, tablet, or desktop. So not all of those devices have the same resolution where they can display the entire image. So here it shows you that if you were to say, let's go ahead and drop a template in here to kind of give you a better idea. So I'm going to go over to the template section, and let's choose Facebook covers, and we'll pull up this one. So as this is loading, you can see that this bar at the top is only going to be displayed on mobile, and the bar at the bottom, and the sides here would only display on desktop. So you want to make sure that, you're right here, they have a call to action, sign up, and they have some text here. That is in the safe area. And then everything else, while there's still, nice components to the design, can be deleted without losing the effect of the design. So that's really, really handy, a simple part of the tool that makes it so helpful to me. If I really like this image, when I was all done, I could go down here and click save. I can also save it as a template, which will put it over here in this section of Stencil, and I can reuse it to modify it like I did with a thumbnail at the beginning of this video. So saving it, if I just click that, it's going to save it to my saved images section right here, where I can see all of the thumbnails that I have already created. So let's go ahead and start from scratch again, this time to take a look at all the menu items over here on the left. So this is the photo library here, where you get access to 2.2 million royalty-free photos, which is absolutely incredible. There's no upsells here. There's no premium photos they have to pay extra to get access to. Everything is included with the deal. I'm going to go ahead and search for computers here. And it's going to pull up a listing of all of the free photos that are available inside of Stencil. I can choose one, and if I just click it, it adds it as a background image to the graphic here. And let's undo that. If I drag it over, I'm given the option to add it as either a background image or as an overlay image, which is to me just like adding it to the image, right? So it's not taking up the full screen. I can resize it, do all the editing that I want in order to make this look good with my design. However, here I actually would like to add this as a background image, and I'd like to add some text to this, right? So let's say I want to add new LTD reviews, and I'm gonna actually make this bigger. Looking good. Now that's a little bit hard to read for me because that blue kind of clashes. So I think it'd be really cool if I were to take this background image that I just clicked on here, and I could add a color overlay. And I can do that very easily by maybe I make it kind of a whiter overlay. You can see already that's way easier to read. I accidentally flipped it around here with this horizontal vertical flip. And I can change the intensity. All right, I like that much better. Just to kind of show you the difference here without the overlay and with the overlay, we'll add it back in. It's a lot easier to read the writing, and the background kind of blurs out there. In fact, there is actually a blur slider. So if I wanted to blur it out and make it even more focused on the words, that would be easy to do. All right, let's move ahead over to the icon section here. And this is basically a bunch of vector graphics that you can go ahead and drop into your designs. So there's a nice sunshine here. I could put that up in the corner. Makes me feel warmer already. And we could add some fruit. You get the idea. Some nice graphics. There are ones that you're able to change the color. So like in this case, there is, kind of, I don't know what that's supposed to be, like a window or something, or a bunch of blocks. I can go ahead and change the color of that. Although, of course, the ones that are more detailed, those are not able to be changed inside of Stencil. So that is the icon section. There are also all of these beautiful templates where we looked at this briefly before, but I can choose what type of image I need to create. Let's say I want to do like a motivational quote for something like Pinterest. I can see all of these templates. Here this one says ideas start with a pen and paper, and I could go ahead and change this to be a lot of coffee. And then maybe I'll change out the pen and the paper to be a coffee pot, right? We could do this really quickly. Head back over to our icons, and I'll type in coffee. Probably should get rid of this one as well. And I could put in here a nice cup of coffee. And then maybe I want the text here to match. I can go ahead and change to the color picker. And let's change it to this. Well, actually, maybe this color would be better. So a little bit darker. There we go. I think that looks pretty nice. Really quick and easy way to modify their templates, give you kind of a nice jumping off place if you're not a designer and you can't come up with these ideas on your own. That's me. So that's the templates. There's of course a quote section where you can just pull in random text. Let's say I want to do a quote about coffee. And it says, maybe I'll get rid of all this text here. And here we go. Let's resize it so it fits with the design. Maybe I'll make it left aligned. Grab this and resize here. I'll make this a little bit bigger. Of course, we need a bigger line height here. And there we go. Coffee, because this body is not going to wake itself up. You're getting the idea here, right? This is a pretty powerful, quick tool. If you're not a designer, you've never taken time to learn Photoshop. Heck, even if you are a designer, I think this can really save you some time to kind of all of these resources inside of one place. Now, I'm going to show you the next part of Stencil here, which you might be wondering, like, why I am in the back end of a WordPress installation. And that's because Stencil has a WordPress plugin. Let me show you how great this is. Let's go ahead and add a new plugin here. I'm going to hit Plugins, Add New. I'll go ahead and search for Stencil in the WordPress repository. Here is the Stencil plugin. I'll just hit Install now. It's installed, super quick installation, activate it. So anytime I'm working inside of WordPress, let's say I have a new page here and I'm gonna open this up with Elementor, and I'm gonna drag in, say, an image right here. And I'm working on building out my web page, and I go ahead and click to choose one of my images. Well, I've got a new tab up here and it says Stencil, and it actually lets me just connect right up to my Stencil account. You can see I'm already logged in. I didn't have to do anything extra. I didn't do any editing here. I didn't, set up the plugin ahead of time. It knew I was already logged in on this browser. And I can go ahead and just grab this image right to my media library with a single click of the button here. Now, because I also have ShortPixel installed on this website, it's not only going to download into my, I can give it a file name here that's SEO friendly. We'll say coffee inspiration quote, and I'll add it to my WordPress media library. And I was saying, if I already have ShortPixel installed on this website, it's going to be added to my media library and automatically be optimized for the web in terms of compression. So that's super awesome. We're seeing two lifetime deals kind of working together in sync with free open source software in terms of WordPress. So here it is. It's already inside my media library. I just hit insert and I've got it on my website. Super powerful, right? I mean, you can do amazing things inside of Stencil and then not have to worry about downloading them and uploading them and optimizing the resolution. All of that can be just done for you, peace of mind taken care of. So beautiful feature there. So before I wrap up this review, I just thought I'd show you a few more things that I've learned to do in Stencil that is really effective, kind of trends that I see happening across the web. The first one here is something you see on YouTube all the time, and that's on the thumbnails. People have kind of an outline or a silhouette around them. Really easy to do with Stencil. Here is a photo of me. I can go ahead and just duplicate this. And then what I'm gonna do is kind of line up the photos and just stretch it out ever so slightly here. And I'll make this one be all the way lightened. Now I can kind of adjust my alignment here, and I'll just move it to the back. And a few more clicks here. There we go. You can see I've got that nice kind of outline. I can probably play with stretching it, moving around to get it just right. But you get the idea. You get that kind of outlined effect very easily with Stencil. Okay, so next I thought I'd show you how I made the background for my green screen. A lot of people have actually asked me about that. They think it looks really good, and where did I get it from? Hesitate to say, but it's just from Stencil. So here's what I've got. I've got a canvas set up with one of my own custom resolutions. You can add your own resolutions. You're not stuck to the presets that they give you. And I created a preset called 16:9, and that's what we're looking at here. So it's fit for a video screen. And then I just went over to the photos and I searched for something like distressed black background. And then it's going to give me a whole bunch of options here. Now, if I can't find the exact one, you can kind of, here, this one kind of looks like it. You get the idea that any of these could really work as a background for a green screen. I'll scroll a little bit more here, and if I can't find it, we'll just go ahead and choose one. I think this one at the top looked pretty close. It's probably from the same kind of family. Where did it go on me? Here we go. Let's see what this one looks like. Okay, so not the exact same background, but you get the idea. All right, so here I'm going to reveal a secret, how I created the logo for this channel. I did it in the matter of, an hour or so. I had the idea for this channel. I went ahead and found a domain name that sounded okay, made the logo inside of Stencil, and just started producing videos to see if anyone would like this stuff. And really that's all this is. It's I chose the Instagram template, 1080 by 1080, just used a few text elements. These are all individual text elements. And that was pretty much it. I did use a little bit of inspiration. So here is one of my favorite TV shows from when I was a kid called My So-Called Life. You can see it has a very similar type of font. It even has a kind of drop shadow with a little bit of green behind it. And let's go back over to Stencil here. You can see I didn't choose the exact shade of green, but there are definitely some similarities there, which you may have not realized had I not pointed out in this video. But a really simple way to kind of just test a logo. I'm sure at some point I could hire a designer to do a much better job of a logo, but honestly, that would have been a waste for this type of use. You're not watching this channel because I have amazing graphics or anything, right? You're watching it to get honest, thorough reviews of things you're thinking of investing in. So for me, Stencil was a real no-brainer here, really saved the day. One more feature I forgot to mention. Of course, we looked at the photos, the icons, the templates, and the quotes. All of your uploaded images will go into the upload section, and once you're done working on an image, you save it. It will live in the saved images, but we didn't talk about watermarks. Now, this is really cool. You can upload your images or your watermarks, and then when you have social media images that you want to have a watermark attached to, all you have to do is upload it here, toggle it on, and there you go. You've got branding right on your image with a single click. Super handy, and I thought it was worth mentioning. So by now you should have a pretty good understanding of the features and functionality built into Stencil. I've already mentioned in this video a few times how, for me, it's been a real lifesaver. I don't want to hire a graphic designer to do very simple tasks, and I can get a pretty good idea of what I want done on my own. However, that doesn't mean that Stencil is a perfect tool. There are a few things about it that really kind of bothers me. It's slow to use, it's clunky. You may have noticed a few times while I'm making this video, you'll see Stencil kind of spinning in the background, but I kept talking to fill the space so we're not just staring at a spinning screen. So hopefully Stencil can work out those speed issues. I've noticed that it tends to happen more with images that I upload versus images that are in their photo library. So that might be part of the issue, is I work almost exclusively with images that I upload rather than using their stock photos. Another thing that kind of bothers me about Stencil is the organizational process. So I'll jump back over here to the screen. If I go under uploads, I've kind of just got one giant folder here of all of my uploads. I can, of course, create new collections. However, it's such a pain in the neck, I very rarely do it. I'll show you what it looks like. I'll create a new collection. I'll name that collection Dave, and I'll just grab all of my thumbnails and try to add it to my folder. Now, if this were on a computer, I could simply highlight the files and drag it over to the folder. However, here what I need to do, oops, I accidentally added that image. Here's what I need to do is go ahead and click on the little thing in the corner here, go over to collections, and choose which collection I want, and there we go. Now it's added. Now I have to go to the next image, and I'll do the same thing, go to collections, go over. So you can see it's a really tedious process to organize your image library if you have 100 or so different images that you need to organize and be able to quickly access. So I'd love to see those two things straightened out. Other than that, it's like the perfect design tool for someone like me. So if you're like me and not a designer, man, I don't know if you can really beat Stencil. I've tried a lot of these other applications. Yes, there are other deals out there that do animations, but for me, that doesn't really fit with my branding. It's not what I'm trying to do with a channel like this, or really, with most of my other clients. So having a lot of animations or a very particular style of template in the designs, less important to me than being able to quickly customize something and get it looking the way I want. So, long story short, Stencil is a must buy for me. I'm going to give this one a 9.4 out of 10. Highly recommend going and picking up a license, if not a couple. So go ahead and grab Stencil. If you don't already have it, you can do so at the link in the description below. That is a referral link, which kicks us back a little bit of money here at the channel, helps us fund the LTD addiction so we can make more of these videos for you. Thank you very much for watching. If you like the video, make sure you click like so I know you appreciate the content. Leave me any comments or questions down below. I'd like to know how you think Stencil compares to tools like Trello or Canva. Which one are you using? Which one do you think is the best investment at this point in time? And I will see you in the next review. 'Cause all I wanna be